Good east positioning of the sun, everybody. You should know my name by this point in the show, and welcome back to the Hunger Games Simulator. Last episode we did Forgotten Characters, and this time, as suggested by BLVXSD or my, whatever it is, I normally just go by the @ so there you go. That's how this works. We are doing classic literature characters. All these characters are from books that are from early books. So let's begin with Sherlock Holmes from Sherlock Holmes, Don Quixote from Don Quixote, Count Dracula from, I think, Dracula, Frankenstein's monster from Frankenstein, Alice from Alice in Wonderland, Dorothy Gale from The Wizard of Oz, Elizabeth Bennet from Pride and Prejudice. What is Anna Karenina from? I don't know all of them from the top of my hand. Oh, she's just from her own book, Anna Karenina. Peter Pan from Peter Pan, Jim Hawkins from Treasure Island, Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde from Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde, Dorian Gray from Dorian Gray, Anne Shirley from something. What in the world did Anne do? What is her book? Anne of Green Gables, that's what it is. And then, alright, next we have Jo March. I don't remember where she's from either. Little Women. Gulliver from Gulliver's Travels, Sinbad from The Adventures of Sinbad, Jean Valjean from, I believe, Jean Valjean. Oh no, he's from Les Miserables. Oh, okay. We have Ebenezer Scrooge from Christmas something or other. I know it's Christmas. I can't get a direct answer. What is he from? A Christmas Carol. That's what it is. There. Blah. I could not. I kept on wanting to say A Christmas Story, but I didn't think that was it. Let's see. What is Jane Eyre from? Oh, Jane Eyre's from her own book. Hester Prynne from, I believe, The Scarlet Letter. Captain Ahab from Moby Dick. Jay Gatsby from The Great Gatsby. Winston Smith from 1984. And who is Rodion Raskolnikov from? I don't remember. Crime and Punishment. That's where he's from. Okay. So yeah, here those are all the book references. I'm not that big of a classic lit guy. I've more read comic books and other nerdier stuff that has come out, not classic lit. So if I had to pick some characters, I'll pick Winston Smith because I did read 1984 by George Orwell. I did actually read that one. And I like Disney's adaptation of Treasure Island, so I'll go with Jim Hawkins. So yeah, Winston Smith and Jim Hawkins. As the tribute stand on the podiums, the horn sounds. Joe runs away from the cornucopia. Ebenezer and Captain Ahab work together to drown Gatsby. Jean steals from Rodion while his back is turned. Jane, Jim, Frankenstein, and Sherlock all run away. Dorothy rips a mace out of Hester's hands. Gulliver runs into the cornucopia and hides. Dorian runs away from the cornucopia. Don Quixote grabs a backpack, not realizing it's empty. Anna runs away. Anne clutches a first aid kit and runs away. I should have said Dracula and not Count, whatever. He gets a sword. Alice, Peter Pan, Sinbad, Elizabeth all run away, and Mr. Hyde snatches a bottle of alcohol and a rag. Sinbad, Frankenstein, and Alice hunt for other tributes. Gulliver receives fresh food from an unknown sponsor. Jean sees smoke rising in the distance but decides not to investigate. Don Quixote makes a slingshot. Sherlock attacks Anna, but she manages to escape. Mr. Hyde makes a wooden spear. Jane pushes Hester off a cliff during a knife fight. Anne chases Winston. Peter Pan camouflages himself in the bushes. Ebenezer begs for Captain Ahab to kill him. He refuses, keeping Ebenezer alive. Elizabeth searches for a water source. Jim attacks Count Dracula, but he manages to escape. Dorian discovers a river. Dorothy discovers a cave. Joe constructs a shack. So there's 3 cannon shots that can be heard in the distance. Gatsby from District 11, Rodion from District 12, and Hester from District 10. With that, currently no district is completely out just yet, but we do go from 24 survivors to 21. How fitting that the Hunger Games books be used to make a simulator which is be used to kill other book characters. Anyways, Jean is unable to start a fire and sleeps without warmth. Ebenezer loses sight of where he is. Jim shoots an arrow into Elizabeth's head. Peter Pan receives clean water from an unknown sponsor. Winston and Captain Ahab sleep in shifts. Sherlock convinces Don Quixote to snuggle with him. Dorian receives an explosive from an unknown sponsor. Dorothy falls into a pit and dies. Sinbad and Mr. Hyde run into each other and decide truce for the night. Dracula tends to Anna's wounds. Alice receives a fresh food from an unknown sponsor. Gulliver, Anne, Frankenstein, and Jane tell each other stories to lighten the mood. Joe is awoken by nightmares. Alice discovers a cave. Frankenstein, Don Quixote, and Gulliver hunt for their tributes. Dorian, Ebenezer, and Peter Pan hunt for other tributes. Captain Ahab questions his sanity. Isn't that very fitting for his character? Joe chases Dracula. Mr. Hyde begs for Winston to kill him. He refuses, keeping Mr. Hyde alive. Jean scares Jim off. Sherlock sprains his ankle running away from Sinbad. Anna tries to sleep through the entire day. Jane camouflages herself in the bushes and constructs a shack. There's 2 more cannon shots, Elizabeth from District 4 and Dorothy from District 3. So, still no district is completely out yet, but we do go from 21 survivors to 19. Frankenstein cries himself to sleep. Peter Pan starts a fire. Jane, Alice, Jean, and Gulliver sleep in shifts. Anna's awoken by nightmares. Joe silently snaps Mr. Hyde's neck. Ebenezer stays awake all night. Sherlock and Dorian talk about the tribute still alive. Dracula, Jim, and Sinbad sleep in shifts. Don Quixote starts a fire. Winston and Captain Ahab talk about tribute still alive. Anna attempts to start a fire but is unsuccessful. Captain Ahab chases Alice. Dorian questions his sanity. Ebenezer, Winston, and Jim hunt for other tributes. Peter Pan begs for Don Quixote to kill him. He refuses, keeping Peter Pan alive. Jane picks flowers. Sinbad steals from Joe while she isn't looking. Anne strangles Jean with a rope. Frankenstein dies trying to escape the arena. That's actually a very fitting way for him to go. Anne fishes. Sherlock discovers a river. Dracula makes a slingshot. Gulliver receives an explosive from an unknown sponsor. So there's 3 cannon shots that can be heard. Mr. Hyde from District 6, Jean from District 9, and Frankenstein from District 2. Again, still no district is completely out just yet. But we do go from 19 survivors to 16 survivors. Getting shorter progressively. I like this. Alice tends to Joe's wounds. Dracula receives fresh food from an unknown sponsor. Anne cooks her food before putting her fire out. Ebenezer destroys Winston's supplies while he is asleep. Anne receives medical supplies from an unknown sponsor. Peter Pan, Captain Ahab, Sinbad, Gulliver, and Jane sleep in shifts. Don Quixote tries to sing himself to sleep. Sherlock climbs a tree to rest. Dorian cooks the food before putting his fire out. Jim receives a hatchet from an unknown sponsor. Jane injures herself. Peter Pan scares Count Dracula off. Don Quixote makes a wooden spear. Sinbad picks flowers. Jim and Captain Ahab work together for the day. Joe searches for firewood. Dorian camouflages himself in the bushes. Winston receives medical supplies from an unknown sponsor. Ebenezer receives clean water from an unknown sponsor. Sherlock tends to Alice's wounds. Gulliver and Anna work together for the day. Anne collects fruit from a tree. No cannon shots. Sherlock, Anna, and Gulliver discuss the games that might happen in the morning. Dracula receives a hatchet from an unknown sponsor. Jim attempts to start fire but is unsuccessful. Dorian receives an explosive from an unknown sponsor. Peter Pan goes to sleep. Don Quixote climbs a tree to rest. Joe thinks about home. Captain Ahab passes out from exhaustion. Jane starts a fire. Alice accidentally steps on a landmine. Sinbad and Ebenezer track down and kill Winston. Damn. I mean, you're not exactly a good guy, Winston. Be blunt with you here. No one in 1984 is really a good guy. Anne goes to sleep. Anna questions her sanity. Captain Ahab and Sherlock work together for the day. Sinbad injures himself. Jane travels to higher ground. Ebenezer and Dorian split up search for resources. Don Quixote makes a slingshot. Dracula hunts for other tributes. Peter Pan and Anne work together for the day. Jim sprains his ankle running away from Joe. Gulliver receives medical supplies from an unknown sponsor. There's only 2 cannon shots that can be heard in the distance. Alice from District 3 and Winston from District 12. Making it so Districts 3 and 12 are officially out. And we have gone from 16 survivors to 14. Let's keep it going. Don Quixote tries to treat his infection. Sherlock, Gulliver, and Ebenezer start fighting, but Gulliver runs away as Sherlock kills Ebenezer. I'm not sure that's a very... Oh, you know what? I don't know. I don't think I can see it. Considering Sherlock's whole thing is, I'm more of a thinker than a fighter. Jane receives an explosive from an unknown sponsor. Joe, Dorian, and Peter Pan and Count Dracula sleep in shifts. Captain Ahab tends to his wounds. Anna shoots an arrow at Sinbad, but misses and kills Jim instead. Damn. I lost. Okay. Anna tries to spear fish with a trident. Joe bleeds out due to untreated injuries. Captain Ahab overhears Dorian and Sherlock talking in the distance. Don Quixote picks flowers. Jane begs for Peter Pan to kill her. He reluctantly obliges, killing Jane. Gulliver collects fruit from a tree. Dracula receives medical supplies from an unknown sponsor. Anna makes a wooden spear. Sinbad sees smoke rising in the distance but decides not to investigate. So there are 4 cannon shots that can be heard in the distance. Ebenezer from District 9, Jim from District 5, Joe from District 7, and Jane from District 10. So, Districts 3, 9, 10, and 12 are completely out. And I believe we went from 14 survivors to 10. I'm going to take a count. I'm paranoid now. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Yeah, from 14 to 10. Don Quixote loses sight of where he is and receives an explosive from an unknown sponsor. Captain Ahab and Gulliver tell stories about themselves to each other. Sherlock screams for help. Anna forces Dorian to kill Sinbad or Count Dracula. He decides to kill Dracula. You know what? Good move. Good move on your part, because Dracula's a friggin' beast. They gave him so many weaknesses because his original appearance was overpowered. Like, oh, vampires can't help but to count grains of sugar or sand. They can't help but to count grains that fall on the floor. They can only be invited into your house. Running water kills them. When it was initially just, here's Dracula. He's an overpowered monster, and the only thing I can get him is direct sunlight. Peter Pan quietly hums. The feast has happened. Don Quixote, Sinbad, and Captain Ahab all decide not to go to the feast. Sherlock falls into a frozen lake and drowns. Dorian and Anne decide not to go to the feast. Anna kills Gulliver with his own weapon, and Peter Pan dies from an infection. So now, Dorian constructs a shack. Anna attacks Sinbad, but he manages to escape. Captain Ahab makes a slingshot. Don Quixote diverts Anne's attention and runs away. 4 cannon shots can be heard in the distance. Count Dracula from District 2, Sherlock Holmes from District 1, Gulliver from District 8, and Peter Pan from District 5. So, Districts 2, 3, 5, 9, 10, and 12 are completely out. And we have went from 10 survivors to 6. Let's keep it going. Don Quixote destroys Dorian's supplies while he is asleep. Anne kills Captain Ahab with his own weapon. Sinbad starts a fire. Anna tries to treat her infection. There we are. Anna tracks down and kills Don Quixote. Dorian tries to loot through the entire day. Anne begs for Sinbad to kill her. He refuses, keeping Anne alive. So there's 2 cannon shots that can be heard in the distance. Captain Ahab from District 11 and Don Quixote from District 1. So Districts 1, 2, 3, 5, 9, 10, 11, and 12 are completely out. We have gone from 6 survivors to 4. I'm not going to say who I think's... Actually, no. I think Dorian's going to win this. I don't know. There's something about him that screams I'm going to win. And shoots a poisonous blow dart into Dorian's neck, slowly killing him. Okay. Okay. I should learn to keep my goddamn mouth shut. Because if I did, people rooting for Dorian wouldn't be pissed at me right now. Anna passes out from exhaustion. Sinbad receives medical supplies from an unknown sponsor. Anne throws a knife into Sinbad's hand, and Anna accidentally steps on a landmine. Okay, so there's 3 cannon shots. Dorian from District 6, Sinbad from District 8, and Anna from District 4, meaning the winner is Anne from District 7. So, what is Anne Shirley? Alright. We have our winner. Let's review the placements. In 24th, Jay Gatsby from The Great Gatsby. Let's see if I can remember all the books they're from, too. In 23rd, Rodion Raskolnikov from Crime and Punishment. In 22nd, Hester Prynne from The Scarlet Letter. In 21st, Elizabeth Bennet from Pride and Prejudice. In 20th, Dorothy Gale from The Wizard of Oz. In 19th, Dr. Jekyll from Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde. In 18th, with a single kill to his name, is Jean Valjean. I don't know where he's from. I forgot. That's one that I forgot. Who is Jean Valjean from? Les Miserables. That's what it is. Number 17, Frankenstein's Monster from Frankenstein. Number 16, Alice from Alice in Wonderland. Number 15, Winston Smith from 1984. In 14th, with 2 kills to his name, Ebenezer Scrooge from A Christmas Carol. In 13th, with a single kill, Jim Hawkins from Treasure Island. In 12th, with 1 kill, Joe March from Little Women. In 11th, with 1 kill, Jane Eyre from, I think, Jane Eyre. I'm gonna look that up, but I'm pretty sure I'm right. Yeah, Jane Eyre. She's from her own book. In 10th, Count Dracula from Dracula. In 9th, with 1 kill, is Sherlock Holmes from Sherlock Holmes. In 8th is Gulliver from Gulliver's Travels. In 7th, with 1 kill, is Peter Pan from Peter Pan. In 6th, with 1 kill, is Captain Ahab from Moby Dick. In 15th, not 15th. In 5th, our farthest going pacifist is Don Quixote from Don Quixote. Blah. In 4th, with 1 kill, is Dorian Gray from, I think, his own book. I don't know. Yeah, no, the picture of Dorian Gray. So, yeah, his own book. In 3rd, with 1 kill, Sinbad from The Adventures of Sinbad. In 2nd, with 3 kills, is Anne Karenina. What is Anna Karenina from? I don't know. She's from her own book. And the winner, with 4 kills to her name, Anne Shirley from Anne of Green Gables. Let it be known, this picture may look innocent, but she's trying to murder people. A little longer than average. District placements: in 12th, 3, in 11th, 12, in 10th, 9, in 8th, 2, in 7th, 5, in 6th, 11, in 5th, 1, in 4th, 6, in 3rd, 8, in 2nd, 4, and in 1st, 7. There you have it. That'll conclude the Classic Literature Hunger Games Simulator. Thank you once again to BLVXXD or my... I'm using the ats from now on, so BLVXXD, like I've been doing. And next episode, we are going to be doing Drake and Josh characters, so stay tuned for that one. See y'all later. You know the drill. Yada yada blah blah. Goodbye.